when little Marie Dionne Warwick was growing up, how important was it that you grew up in a gospel family?
Well, I think it's evident right now that being brought up around music and as much singing as I was, it was inevitable that I would have no choice but to sing.
Because your mother was the manager of a group, wasn't she?
Right.
The Brinkard Singers.
That's right.
Now, you, I think, with your sister and your cousin, formed a little group of your own, didn't you? The Gospel Airs.
Gospel Airs.
Now, what sort of things did you do?
Oh, we did, we sang gospel, of course, and we did a lot of church work. We had what we call programs. We go to different churches around the neighboring cities in New Jersey and sing, and we did concert work. We did a lot of background work, too, in the studios in New York.
Now, do you think that gospel background is still with you when you sing, whatever you sing, whether it's R&B or blues or jazz or whatever?
Absolutely. I think that you kind of learn an entry of how to present a lyric and what a melody really means when you sing gospel. So it's obviously with me all the time. I do sing it now, too.
Now, you've had great cooperation with a great many very talented people, but there was one remarkable association where three people came together at a moment in time, where you had Hal David, Burt Bacharach, and you all came together just at the time when they were beginning their careers, their remarkable career. How did it come about?
Well, I was doing a background session with the Drifters, and it was a song that Burt Bacharach and Bob Hilliard had written, a song called Mexican Divorce. And I guess I usually say I was singing too loudly or something. But he noticed me and asked if I would continue to do background work and demonstration records with the new partner he had just made a contract with. And they were going to write some songs, and would I be interested? And I said, sure, as long as it didn't interfere with my schooling. And I did that for them for quite a while. And from that, they wrote a song. It was a wonderful song called It's Love That Really Counts. And he wrote that for a group called the Shirelles, America's Sweethearts, I think the world's sweethearts. And took the song to Scepter Records, which was then owned by a lady named Florence Greenberg. And she really didn't like the song at all, but she wanted the girl singing it, and that was me.
And then you started doing demos. I mean, it seems to most people the sort of most soul-destroying of things, trying to sell a song to people. But you had a really good product to sell, didn't you?
Well, I was known as the demo queen.
Really?
Yeah, there was a guy named Jimmy Breedlove who was the demo king, and I was the demo queen.
And is it as hard and tough as people say it is, trying to sell a song to disinterested people?
Not necessarily. If songwriters are commissioned to write for certain people, no, not really.
Now, among the highlights of your career are really some quite extraordinary ones. One was in the Olympia Theatre in Paris, when you were introduced by a living legend, by Marlene Dietrich.
Yes,
now, what was that like?
Well, she is probably the most vibrant person I've ever met in my life. I've never seen anybody move as fast or get things accomplished as quickly as she did. And it was kind of overwhelming what she did. She did my lighting, she did my orchestra rehearsal, she did my sound check, then she went to my dressing room, threw out half of my clothes and took me shopping. It was incredible, it really was.
The other highlight, and there are so many, I mean, I think you were the only winner of 4 Grammys and crossover records and all sorts of things, and gold awards by the bushel. Well, but you were also invited to the Apollo 11 celebration in Houston by the astronauts.
That was quite incredible. There were 5 people that they wanted to see when they got back to the planet Earth from the moon, and I was one of them, and I was just thrilled. You know, it was a very exciting time.
Well, I can't say I blame them for that. Did you sing to them?
Yes, I did.
Now, this record that you brought out now, the single that we've just heard, Heartbreaker, which is also the main track of the album. Now, it's an extraordinary album, and I think Barry Gibb, with his brothers, wrote 9 out of the 10 tracks. Am I right?
Well, Barry Gibb and his brothers, I think there are about 3 tracks that they wrote together. And there's another songwriter that Barry writes with frequently, Albie Galutin, who wrote the majority of the other tracks with him. But by and large, it was a whole conglomeration of people who contributed to the album. And I think it just turned out beautifully. I'm thrilled with the album.
Because it is a beautiful album, and it's also a very characteristic album of yours, in that it's very unclassifiable. No one could say you are a jazz singer, you are a country singer, you are a ballad singer. You seem to have a synthesis of all the best of all these kind of things.
I think I like the idea of not being able to be categorized. It kind of leaves open avenues for everybody to enjoy it. You know, I've been on many polls. I've been named as a top singer in jazz polls. I've been named R&B polls, pop polls. Even classical people like my music, which is very nice. You know, so my age group is from 6 on, which is nice.